Happy Thursday, everybody. It is May 7th. We are working on our last module for the week, Module 15B. As a reminder, today is our last day of literacy block for the week, so just make sure that you double check that you've submitted all modules, that you completed the mastery check from last module, and that you finish updating your IR for week 5. All right, so today's module is slightly different than what we've done the rest of this week, and it's also kind of continuing on similar topics. But here's what we're doing today. There's objectives and framing here right now in this video. There's a quick do now, and then you're going to spend the majority of class reading and answering questions about a short story. You will have an SCR reflection at the end. That will be the mastery check for today. And there is not anything on Edulastic, so the materials are all within the module document. All right, so our objectives for today are to analyze a story's theme and how it relates to character and plot. And students will be able to write a short constructed response. Okay, awesome. So I mentioned that today's a little similar in some ways and different in some ways from the rest of this week. In today's module, we're going to continue to think, read, and write about appreciation and gratitude. And we're going to do this by reading this awesome story called Witches' Loaves by O. Henry. I really think you're going to enjoy it. Ms. Solsky has created an awesome read aloud video, so you can click on the link and follow along while she reads the story, and she'll tell you to pause for each question, or you can read the story to yourself. So today is similar in that we're continuing to think about appreciation and gratitude, but it's different in that today we're going to actually look at kind of the negative side of these things. So we're going to look at how appreciation and kindness can have negative results, and we'll think about what's the difference. Why, in what situations does appreciation lead to good, and in what situations can appreciation and showing that to others actually have a negative consequence. All right, so I wanted to spend a little time giving some feedback on Module 15A, specifically around this idea of complex sentences. We're going to look at one of the mastery check questions that a lot of people miss, and we'll review that. So just to review, a complex sentence is a sentence that has one independent clause and one subordinate or dependent clause. So one independent clause, that's a clause that can stand on its own as its own sentence, and that a subordinate clause is one that cannot. So here's an example. This is Miss Chase Sandblum's example from the video. He says, before COVID-19 shut down our society, I went to the Post Malone concert. So just to kind of break this down, the first clause here is before COVID-19 shut down our society. That is a subordinate or a dependent clause because it can't stand alone. We can't just put a period at the end of that and call it good, because we have to finish it off. Before COVID-19 shut down our society, what happened before? That word before is telling us that clause depends on, it needs something else to complete it. And then we have the second clause, I went to the Post Malone concert. That's an independent clause because it's fine on its own. It doesn't need anything else. It's complete grammatically. Okay. So here's our question. Which of the following sentences below is a complex sentence? So it has subordinate and independent clause. All right, so one thing that I think is really helpful to look for first is we're not looking for sentences that have just a conjunction connecting to independent clauses. That is a compound sentence, and we actually have a couple of those here. So the first one, I went to the store and Snoop Dogg was buying toilet paper. I went to the store, independent. Snoop Dogg was buying toilet paper, also independent, and it's just connected with a conjunction. So that is a compound sentence. And then same thing here. I completed module 13, but conjunction. I did not complete module 14. So we have two independent clauses just connected with a conjunction. Okay, and then this last one is tricky. A lot of people selected D here. I would like to thank the following frontline workers: nurses, doctors, bus drivers, and those who work at a grocery store. So this one is tricky. We have an independent clause. I would like to thank the following frontline workers. And then we just have a list. So it's a little tricky. The problem is that the second part that's underlined is not a clause. It's just a list of things. So it doesn't really fit that complex sentence thing. Correct answer here is C. While I like in-person school, e-school is not my favorite. I think the key here is while. While is not a conjunction. It's telling us that there's a relationship between the first part of the sentence and the second part of the sentence. The first part is a dependent clause and the second is an independent clause. All right, that's all for that. So you're going to get started on Module 14B, and I wish you the best of luck as you finish out week 5 of e-school.